This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Yeah, say hey to these people off to fix this up.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Joe Gaither Show. Joe has to go run some errands. I'm Theo Fernandez. I'll be leading us off while Joe takes his time. But we're here live in Tampa for another day. You know, there was a very real shot that we were going to drive home after Alabama suffered an upset loss to Hofstra. Crimson Tide get down 10 early, and you guys all saw Alabama. Good response. Closed out that game well, played very intentional basketball to get a 90-70 win over the Pride and keep dancing on the verge now of its first Sweet 16.
You feel pulse? We're live.
We're live. There's no
survived.
flat line. There is no flat line. Alabama moves on. Survive and advance, right?
That's what it's all about right here. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I left the glasses in the jacket pocket the other day, and so I had to pick those up right there. So let's get going here. It is it's a beautiful, sunny Saturday morning here in Tampa. We're not in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios, but we appreciate him sponsoring the program, calling for all your insurance needs. You know what? One of Derek's buddies called me in the middle of the game yesterday talking insurance. I said, I think I'm already signed up. It's all good. He was just doing his due diligence. I know they've had a new hire. You can call them at 205-758-3391. You're watching the show on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, Facebook page. Look, lots of great content on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, post-game coverage from last night. We were in the locker room and we talked to all the stars of Alabama's big old victory over Hofstra. And for a while, a little bit tight, but slammed the absolute door on them. I think it was a 16-4 run to end the game. And Alabama busted Joe's prediction. They did cover. They won and covered. 20-point victory over the Hofstra Pride. So congratulations to the Crimson Tide. You are alive. You have survived, and now you get to play Texas Tech. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the game that we saw yesterday, the standouts, maybe who needs to improve or who found their footing a little bit. Right here on the show, we're brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. Check them out online at roofturtle.com for all of your roofing needs. Follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _ on the Twitter machine. Theo pulling double duty last night and actually paid off for you yesterday as Alabama won on the hard court. And then you were watching Alabama baseball. Tyler Fay, first no-hitter in 84 years for the Crimson Tide. You did not get swept by the Florida Gators. No. You opened the series with a big old win. We'll touch on that at the very, very end of the program because that's such a historic moment.
It is.
We'll see what they do at the rest of the weekend with 2 more games against the Florida Gators. But most of our attention will be put on basketball, the game yesterday and the game ahead tomorrow. So that's going to be the game plan. Check out roofturtle.com and check out the Joe Gaither Show wherever you get your podcast. So, Theo, good morning. I know you were up late last night.
I'm tired.
How you feeling?
I'm battling. Finished up my Texas Tech preview around 4 o'clock. I sat down and watched the extended highlights of the now 8 games they've played since JT Toppin went down. Just trying to get a sense of what this team looked like, because Nate Oates talked after the game about how, well, when we're scouting Texas Tech, we don't care about anything that happened with JT Toppin. He used the analogy, well, if LeBaron got hurt and couldn't play the rest of the season, you wouldn't watch the highlights of the team with him because it would be a new team. Texas Tech is a new team, but they are still a good team, and you can read that analysis on BamaCentral, kind of breaking down what they do well, where Alabama could excel, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Check it out at BamaCentral.com for a full breakdown of the Red Raiders. But we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. We're still basking in the glory for another hour or two of Alabama's first round win. We're about to head over to the arena to talk to Texas Tech and to Alabama. We'll get more locker room time with the Crimson Tide guys and kind of see how they're feeling now that they've had one night's rest. But let's go back to yesterday. Yesterday, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock for you guys in Central Time. The Crimson Tide took on Hofstra and punched them right in the mouth. You came out to a nice little start, and Speedy Claxton called timeout. and you saw Hofstra go on a fairly significant run to take a double-digit lead in the first half, and I thought, no way. Are we really watching the Ole Miss game again, where a slow pace, deliberate pace, good shot making, and subsequent bad shot making for Alabama on the other end, shot really poorly in the first half. It was going to bury Alabama and send us home. I was thinking about the drive home on Saturday or today, and I was like, no, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. Alabama digs back in a little bit and takes a 2-point lead into halftime and really set the tone coming out of halftime. Coach Oates has been on the team about second half starts, and they really had a good one, got off to an 11-4 run, 12-4 run to take a double-digit lead and kind of held that 11-7 point lead for most of the game. And then, as we said, put on a huge run at the end, 19-4. I think Taylor Bowen took some exception to some of the things that were said to him and was really, really fired up.
I think he took exception to being shoved to the ground.
Victory on Yetu said, on the floor for you. So, Theo, I'll just ask you your biggest takeaway before we get into little aspects of the game, kind of what you walked out of Benchmark International Arena thinking about this Crimson Tide team.
My biggest takeaway is Phylon did everything he was supposed to do out
there. Fight on.
You talk about an elite performance. You talk about a guy who, okay, I want to be a high NBA draft pick. I also think I'm one of the best players in college basketball right now. I also want to lead my team on a run. He did all the things that guy should do. Preston Edmeade had a solid scoring output. Cruz Davis, meanwhile, what was he, 2 of 10 in the second half? Something along those lines.
He had a rough second half.
Yeah, Alabama basically completely shut him down. Yeah, 2 of 10 for Cruz Davis in the second half. Meanwhile, Edmeade scores 19 points in the second half alone. But despite all of that, LeBaron Phylon was the best player on the basketball court, really at every moment. If there's anyone who competed with him for it, it was Aiden Sherrill, who was just a menace on the glass. What was he, 15-15? And that was a great performance. What Phylon did, leading the offense, getting anytime Hofstra had something, whether that was the beginning where, okay, Hofstra just went on a huge run and Hofstra's up 10. Then Alabama, Phylon, he closed out the half well. It was actually a 16-4 run, also to end the first half for Alabama, extended run to take the 2-point lead at the break. So you have that run. You have a really dominant, we are going to set the tone right now out of halftime. I don't know what was said. I just know that Phylon went out and he was dialed. And then after that, Alabama's jumped out to that, 10 to 12 point lead, and you're kind of hanging around in that area. Phylon has a bucket, or Edmeade gets free and makes something. Phylon has the answer. How many assists do you end up with? 7 assists, 8 rebounds.
Yeah.
That's everything you want from your star point. That's a near triple-double right there. 29, 8, and 7. He did have 5 turnovers, which, honestly, if we're being frank, I didn't quite notice them during the game. It didn't feel like he was necessarily messing up the flow or really disrupting Alabama's offense.
3 of the 5 in the first half.
I thought Phylon played an exceptional basketball game.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, and as you pointed out, the 5 turnovers, 3 of them coming in the first half, so it was really kind of a cleaned up effort. I think for this team, they came out in the first half and got off to a good start. And then when Hofstra took their timeout, when Speedy Claxton took their timeout, and they started to dig back in the game, I kind of thought that Alabama was not surprised, but a little bit surprised, because you heard Latrell Wrightsell as Alabama opened out the game really, really strong, yelling, "They don't want to be here! They don't want to be here!" Well, Hofstra punched back, and they ended up taking the lead that we talked about. And I thought, ooh, Alabama's getting a little surprised by the competitive fire that Hofstra's bringing, the intensity that they're playing with. And so it took them a little bit of time to re-raise their game. They came out with a good start, and then Hofstra said, we can match this and play this style. And it took Alabama just a little bit more to re-raise their game. I was impressed with LeBaron's first half, or LeBaron's second half. What I was impressed most about LeBaron was the way that he dictated the offense, getting into the lane and keeping the ball moving. I know that Aiden Sherrill had a really, really great game, and Aiden Sherrill, you see it on the stat sheet, the 15 and 15. But the most underrated part to me was the screening and rolling, setting up places for LeBaron to find pockets and get himself free, getting to the rim pretty easily. And I just thought this team put on a really mature, and that's a word we haven't used a lot this season, mature performance, especially in the second half when they were only up by 2 at the break, and saying, hey, we ain't messing around. His team has struggled to close out some teams. And you've heard Coach Oates, I mean, one of his themes in his entire tenure at Alabama has been don't play the scoreboard. That's the number I was looking at. 38 points in the paint for Alabama to Hofstra's 22. We talked about it all week long about Hofstra making Alabama take long 2-point attempts. But LeBaron really did get to the rim effectively. And Aiden Sherrill, while still had a couple of moments where you thought, oh, be tougher right there. He found his aggression, I thought. He got, I think that alley-oop at the end of the first half really got him going and really allowed him to think, okay, I can assert my will a little bit. 9 offensive rebounds, keeping things alive for Alabama, getting extra shots. You looked at the first half shooting, and Alabama was trending to have its lowest field goal percentage of the year. They obviously improved in the second half, but the first half was disgusting from a field goal percentage. So your offensive rebounds were extremely crucial. You got out on the break a little bit against Hofstra, especially in the second half with fast break. 19 fast break points. I think most of those came in the second half. Fast break, 11 of the 19 came in the second half. So I thought it was a mature performance for a team that has not shown a lot of maturity this season. You can go and look at any instance or any unfortunate game that they've had, or any game that was closer than it should have been, and think, wow, a more mature team would slam the door. And that's exactly what they did yesterday to Hofstra. I thought on the Hofstra side, Preston Edbean, that was he was shot making yesterday
in the second half
for sure. He was really, really impressive to me. But Alabama, I mean, I talked to Amari about Cruz Davis, and he said, yeah, the scout was to sit on his left hand, and the scout was to make him take tough shots. And I think we especially did that in the second half. Theo, you already mentioned it, 2 of 10. So defensively, answered the bell yesterday. The theme in the locker room was what was the message at halftime was basically get stops. That's all you need. String together stops, and everything else will fall into place. And it did.
Joe, I'm going to give you one other word for the team: urgency. That's something that's been lacking so much this year. That's something where, and what I wrote about postgame was the comparison to a week ago against Ole Miss versus this Hofstra game, because in both games you trailed by 11 points 11 minutes into the game. You're in the identical position. The response was completely and utterly different today versus a week ago. And I think a lot of that came down to the preparation. I think a lot of it came down to the, dissatisfaction on how it ended in Nashville. But I think most of it came down to these leaders, right? The Houston Millette, Latrell Wright, so we are playing in what may be our last college basketball game. The LeBaron Philon, I am not going to lose today. There's some urgency. There is a team playing like a team that wants to go far, like a team that plays for a program with a high standard and that wants to live up to the standard. There is what has been lacking for so much of this season. I was very impressed with just about everything yesterday from this Alabama team.
Now, I'll take you back a couple days ago. We were sitting right here in the hotel room, and I was talking about Taylor Bowen, asking, would you rather have him with a high scoring output or a high rebounding output? Now, you picked rebounding, and I agreed with you. I think that was the right answer. But Taylor Bowen wasn't listening to us. No. Taylor said, I'll give you the high scoring output. 3 of 5 from the 3-point line, really, really good. I mean, he and Sherrill both hit 2 3-pointers in the first half. Yeah. All the other, 3-point shooters that you would expect to have good shooting numbers really had poor shooting numbers in the first half. So the 2 forwards combined like 2 of 6 or 2 of 5 from the 3-point line in the first half. Bowen going 3 of 5, but really, really just aggressive. You did see 3 blocks, so aggressive on the defensive end, but aggressive and decisive on the offensive end. Sometimes I think this team has struggled a little bit with its decision-making as far as, is this the right decision? Is it not? Well, instead of worrying about that, just go hard. Just play hard. Just play aggressive. Play urgently, like Theo just said. I think Taylor Bowen really, really did that. And I'm not going to say he's unlocked for the tournament because we've seen him have a really high and follow it up with a really low. But I was impressed with his performance, and I think that you need that if you want to keep advancing in this tournament.
Yes, and even like obviously he had that 7-0 run really late in the game by himself, where Victor Onyetu shoves him to the ground, and there's all that clapping back and forth, and things did get chippy. Things really did get chippy there, especially with LeBaron and Luttrell and Bull Bowen were all saying a lot to the Hofstra fans in the stands. So there was a fun atmosphere, first of all, in the game. It was fun. It was cool to see.
Hofstra had a great crowd.
They did. Those guys were really loving their decision to come down for a little while in that game. It got loud. Let's go Hofstra fans everywhere. But back to what we were saying, like Bull Bowen, he had that 7-0 run by himself, but also like the 8 points he'd given you before then, those were big points.
Mm-hmm.
Those were spark plug points. Those were, I'm going to step up and I'll make it. Let's see, where were his threes?
Made good 3-pointer to re-extend the lead from 8 to 7 to 7 to 11, right? So they had just cut it by 1, and he answered with a 3-pointer. Good layup to extend it again from a 2-point lead to back to a 4-point lead. So, like, you need these points. You keep going. Good 3-pointer as Alabama's digging back into it.
Yeah.
You're down 5. You hit a 3. You hit your 3 to dig back in the first half. So a lot of his points in the first half came at really important times.
Yeah, and then obviously like that run that he went on by himself at the end.
Good dunk, good 3-pointer, good dunk.
The game was all but over at that point, but like you love a guy who can go on that kind of run, who can play with that kind of fire. And look, I mean, with the point in the season that we're at, and the point is obviously, you're playing for your lives every game. A run like that, a guy who can go out and say, I'm going to give you 90 minutes of the electrifying basketball where I'm going to take this game over for a small stretch. You get one stretch like that from a guy on the team like that the rest of the year, you're happy. Like that could be the difference between surviving and going home for the season.
Yeah, so I was impressed with the team yesterday. Obviously, Hofstra had a lot of. I thought they were a talented team, but just a little bit, not a little bit thin, just as the depth outside of Edmeade and Davis. I thought Platnikov hit a couple of big shots. He was really getting connected with the crowd.
See the poster of his dunk?
Yeah, his legs all in the air. So Platnikov had himself a nice game, but they just didn't have enough help. Silas Sunday, I thought was going to be a bigger factor in this game. 0 points, only 3 rebounds.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're good.
Victory on Yetu had 8 rebounds in the first 16 minutes of the game. 1 the rest of the game.
Really impressive digging in and matching the moment, matching the intensity and re-raising the intensity. So I was really impressed is basically the bottom line for me in this game. Any other thoughts on what we saw yesterday?
No, that was 13 seeds are going to fight. A lot of them have, right? You even saw Cal Baptist playing Kansas, and you're down 26 and you're battling. Like, all these teams are capable of playing good basketball. But at the end of the day, these 4 seeds are supposed to close out the matchup. Alabama is supposed to be the more talented team. You're not supposed to lose this basketball game. And you withstood everything that Hofstra had to throw at you. You game planned for them well. You came ready. You didn't overlook them. Everything you're supposed to do in this moment as a 4 seed, and you get to play another day because of it.
Yeah. The other small, tiny thing is going back to the Cruz Davis sitting on his left hand. It just seemed like the team was dialed into the scout, dialed into the defensive game plan, and that allowed them to string together second half stops and ultimately advance. We'll go to some of these comments right here on YouTube. My man Keith Connell, good morning. Hope you're doing well. I thought we were about to be run out of the gym, he says. Glad they pulled it together. And then Keith highlights last night's baseball appearance. Big no-no last night in baseball. Look forward to hearing Theo talk about Tyler Fay here in just a little bit. And my man Everett Osmer. Wow, y'all are live on a Saturday. Yeah, man, big day. It's a big Saturday. Alabama is still alive and has another game on Sunday. We appreciate you three, you guys commenting right there on your preferred platforms. You can find it YouTube, Facebook, wherever you like the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. All right, so the game before Alabama, we got to the arena right in time. And I got settled. I already had my shirt, my merch. by the time the national anthem was over. I was walking down to get settled as they're announcing starting lineups for Akron and Texas Tech. And there was a little bit of time where Akron was battling. They kept it close for a while, but ultimately it was Texas Tech winning in the exact same margin, 20 points, beating Akron 91-71 to advance. So they're now 4-3, right? 4-3 without JT Toppin, I believe is what I saw, is what I put in the how to watch.
4 if you include the game where he got hurt.
Okay, no, I didn't include that in my how to watch. I just included the
if you include him, because they did lose that game because he was not available for most of it. But 4-4,
yeah,
you've had really more positive or more negatives than positives if we look at it. I mean, the real one positive was you went out and you beat Iowa State, and then the next week you got blown out by them in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah,
so
not even close.
It's been a rough stretch. I think your 3 losses were TCU, BYU, Iowa State to close out the season. The last one wasn't even close. And who were those 3 wins? Was it Cincinnati and Kansas State were 2 of them.
Right. They lost to Arizona State in the game he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And they beat Kansas State, Cincinnati, and Iowa State.
Those are 2 very, very bad teams.
All right. And then they've lost three other games. TCU, you just said TCU, BYU, Iowa State. And they beat Akron yesterday. But I got to be honest, Theo, sitting there from 2 feet away, the only thing that I thought was, well, they can shoot. They're good shooters. But I didn't see I didn't see how's the best way to say it? I don't think I saw a team out there that was playing with, this is our identity. Does that make sense? Because it kind of just seemed like they were just playing back and forth, and if we find a 3-point shot, we can get it, great. We're not. It just didn't seem deliberate to me. Obviously, they had a young man who went 5 of 7 from the 3-point line, so that's going to be something that Alabama has to pay attention to. Jalen Petty went 5 of 7 from beyond the arc, so he was really, really good. And Donovan Atwell, 4 of 6. Those 2 guys, that's at 9 of 13 from beyond the arc. He went 11 of 20 as a team.
And 19 of those attempts came from Petty, Atwell, and then Christian Anderson is the star of those teams. Anderson and Atwell shoot around 43% each, and then Petty's around 37%. Those 3 can shoot. Don't expect anyone else on the team to take more than 1-2 attempts, like combined.
You're right.
And 3 shooters outside of that, no one's taking them.
So I think what I'm trying to say here, Theo, is I didn't see Texas Tech's 20-point win and think, wow, they're going to give Alabama or Hofstra, they're going to give the winner of our game a lot of trouble. I think Akron stumbled into some problems. They only shot 25% from beyond the 3-point line. I think that created some issues. 9 turnovers for the Zips. That's not that big of a deal. They did get out-rebounded pretty significantly. And so that probably that spelled into their downfall as well. But I didn't look at the Red Raiders and think, Alabama's going to be up a creek. I know that we've talked about their KenPom numbers are really, really good, but obviously their KenPom numbers are skewed from the playing with JT Toppin. I don't know, Theo. I just thought if it's a guard versus guard, if it's 3 guards versus 3 guards, I mean, I like LeBaron Latrell and Amari Allen against pretty much any 3 guards in the country.
So the only thing that gives me pause there is, so you are correct, and Texas Tech's bigs really have been nothing to write home about. You look at JT Toppin, he averaged 10.8 rebounds per game. That's more than the second and third leading rebounders combined. The leading rebounder is, I believe the guy's name is pronounced DeJuan Watts, who averages 6 a game for the Red Raiders. And then they have a bunch of guys who are under 4. And you look at the center minutes, like none of those guys are particularly big. Yeah, Lawan Watts is a 6'6" power forward for this team. There's not a lot of size.
Yeah.
Hofstra was a bigger team than Texas Tech, and that was one of the things coming in with this team that was kind of fun, was like, oh, look at this small ball lineup with one of the best pure rebounders in the game in JT Toppin. And the team was built for success in winning games because it was built to succeed with this. Frankly, JT Toppin was one of the 3 best players in the country. I mean, he was incredible. Now you look at these guys, they got 2 centers who basically split minutes, and neither of them are particularly big or really all that talented. Rebounding has been a massive question mark all year for this team. That includes when Toppin was on the floor. What makes this so interesting is, well, it hasn't been all that good for Alabama. We have two teams where rebounding has been the biggest question mark, the biggest inconsistency on the season. What happens when they go head to head? What happens when a stoppable force meets a movable object? Like, I have no clue how things are going to unfold on the board.
I think I'm picking Alabama big in this.
The game or the
Yeah,
rebounding?
yeah. I think that without presence inside to keep Alabama away from the glass. I mean, Alabama struggled rebounding against elite rebounding teams. Against mid rebounding teams, they've done fine. They've done just fine. You've been even to better against most of the mid to not good rebounding teams. Now, against the elite rebounding teams, they've gotten smoked, dominated on the glass. But then you take the other factor is, well, the whole Alabama offense, I mean, the fools say live and die by the three, but the whole Alabama offense is getting to the rim. And you see that with LeBaron yesterday saying, hey, I'm going to get myself to the rim. We're going to get good looks. And then I'll take these 3-pointers when they come to me. When you switch out Silas Sunday on me on the wing, I will laugh at him, take a step back three. But he's 10 of 18 from the floor, and a lot of these are right at the rim. If you don't have a good rim protector, if you don't have presence on the inside, I mean, that's what's made Florida, Alabama's big, problem over the last handful of years is you've had massive bigs who are athletic and can keep you off the. I mean, look, take you back to last year's game against Duke in the Elite Eight, and it's can you get around Kama Malawash? Can you? I mean, Malawash is basically guarding the entire lane, and then it becomes we're stepping out from the 3-point line even further than we like. We're not getting quality looks. It's the defensive big of the other team that jacks up Alabama's offense because you can't get to the rim effectively. You can't screen and roll. The athletic big gets out there and kind of guards both guys and jacks up your offense. I didn't see that with Texas Tech. So I think that Alabama's offense is going to be able to get into its sets and get the shots that they want.
Don't confuse Texas Tech's lack of size for a lack of athleticism.
Okay.
Because you've got athletes. Alon Watts, I was particularly pretty blown away by with what he was doing all defensively as a smaller guy, mostly on bigs, but also this team is really good off switches. This team plays very effective help defense. And I think one of the biggest pieces for LeBaron is, can you make the right decisions with the ball as far as can you find the laps on the weak side, or can you find the guy who's got an opening when they switch on to you? Because I'm really interested to see, obviously, Sherelle has been better in the pick and roll game down the stretch this season, I think. I think LeBaron makes good decisions off it. But I don't know how easy it'll be to attack the rim. I think we might be underselling Texas Tech a little just because we see the lack of size, when really I wasn't you look at these bigs, they beat Pete and Arkansas.
Yeah, they got a lot of good wins.
And it was with JT Toppin. Mm-hmm. That's one player. Yes, obviously Toppin is a phenomenal basketball player.
They beat Duke. But you got to give them credit.
These guys that we're talking about, like Watts in particular, has been able to hang with some of the best players in the sport. Yeah. I mean, the wins are absurd.
They had a lot of good wins.
Too much stock into it. Even the losses. You got Houston in there. You got Purdue is the only blowout loss. You got Illinois in a close one. You've played so many good teams. So
they hung in there. We remember how bad Arizona dominated Alabama on the glass. Well, they hung in there with Arizona, losing the rebounding battle by 2.
So yeah, I'd say it'll be interesting to see how they're able to handle LeBaron, but I think they'll be a little better off than we might expect with the size.
Well,
but do you have anything else?
No, you're good.
The biggest story of this game is Christian Anderson. Anderson is the other AP third-team All-American guard alongside LeBaron Philon, averaging 19, 7.5. one of the best playmakers in the sport. Just a guy who he knows what he's doing with that basketball. Think of him. So, okay, for context, Anderson is viewed as a projected first round draft pick sophomore. And the biggest, kind of critique of his game, the biggest reason there are some people who don't think he'll really succeed in the NBA is that he lacks an elite, burst. He needs to rely on screens. Maybe that is something that'll hurt him in the NBA. But with this team that plays such a slow, deliberate, set half-court offense, he's going to get the screen whenever he wants it.
Yeah.
He can play to his style when he wants to. And you think of him like a QB back there. I'm here. I'm in the pocket. The screen is coming. And I know what I'm going to do with this ball before anybody else has any clue. I've been blown away by just how instantaneous his decision-making is. Now, he averages, I think it was 3.5 turnovers per game. And sometimes it will lead to him making the wrong choice. But he is going to make that choice. And he's going to make it instantly. And he's going to stick to it. And with how talented he is, most times, it is going to be the right decision. He is one of the highest. I think he's 26th in assist rate in the country. When you couple that with being number 7 in effective field goal percentage, this guy is a guy who can score from anywhere on the court and who will make defenses pay. We talked about Cruz Davis and making guys pay for lapses, and Anderson does all the elite guard stuff at a truly elite level. This is just such a big step up from what you've been facing. This is, as far as guards you have played this season,
Put a lot of good ones.
It is Braden Smith, it's Darius Acuff, and then it is Christian Anderson at third. He is that special of a player. And you just did a great job shutting down a talented guard yesterday. Can you do it again? And can you do it against a guy who, no disrespect to Cruz Davis, is significantly better?
All right, are you going to stand in the fire? You're going to stand in the fire and take the Red Raiders? Because Alabama, you got to. Here's the Theo Fernandez pick right here. Do you win to go to the Sweet 16, or do you go home and make Theo look like a savant?
It is a very important thing for a man to be able to admit when he has been wrong. To be able to put his pride to the side and say, you know what, I said something, and I've changed my stance on it. And if I was wrong, I would be doing that. This Alabama team has given me 33 games of empirical data on it. And in those 33 games, I have not seen anything that makes me believe this Crimson Tide team is built to win this game. Coming off the big performance, you've got things going right. You want to believe that the team has turned a corner, that the sense of urgency is there, that LeBaron might play a phenomenal basketball game, but that the rebounding will be tapped in, that everything will go right once again against this injured team, and you will make your 4th straight Sweet 16 team. That is not what this team is going to do. Things have gone wrong all season. Every time we've put our faith in this team that it's turned a corner, it has let you down. Don't fool yourself. Don't go in here thinking that's going to change tomorrow. Texas Tech is a cohesive unit. While it has its flaws, it plays team basketball. It has a star player that is just as good as Phylon. I like the Red Raiders to end Alabama's season tomorrow.
Oh, well, Theo, I applaud you for standing in the fire. I applaud you for standing up and sticking with your gut. And you're not entirely wrong. This team, you've seen them have big wins, and then letdowns are sure to come. Ken Palm does think it's going to be a very, very close game and has Alabama winning 86-85. But any 1-point game can flip the other way, as Santa Clara found out yesterday, trying to get a timeout to set their defense, and Otega Owe hits a 35-footer to retie the game. So I think Alabama will win. I think they will win because I believe in the guard play in almost any guard matchup. And maybe that's naivety, or maybe that's crimson-colored glasses. But I believe in the guard play in almost any matchup, and I don't think the forward play of Texas Tech is enough to give them enough of an edge to overcome Alabama's guards. Now, I think you're exactly right with your assessment of Texas Tech's guards. I think they're good for sure, but I think LeBaron is really, really special, and I think Amari Allen took him a minute to get his taste of NCAA tournament play, but second half, all 11 of his points coming in the second half. He was talking about getting lost in the game, and so I think he got a good feel of what the NCAA tournament is like, and so we're going to see a very, very interesting game tomorrow. But Theo, on your take, combined with the tip time of 8:45 Central Time, 9:45 for us. You know, my bedtime's 10:20 at home. When I'm in Tuscaloosa, my bedtime is 10:20.
I'm right around that.
Oh my gosh! So 9:45 for us is when the Crimson. Are you suggesting for the Alabama faithful to go to bed on time and be ready for work on Monday morning and just wake up and know that it didn't go so well?
No.
Skip the coffee. Skip the late night coffee. Don't jack up your night of sleep. Let your week start correctly on a Monday.
Joe, what month is it?
It is March 21st.
And when do we sleep?
We sleep in May.
There we go. You do not miss this basketball game.
Okay, 8:45 Central Time. It'll be 9:45 for us, and we will fight on through. I think CBS really, I look, people online have gone, oh, they're screwing Alabama. I don't think it's personal whatsoever to Alabama. I think they just made broadcast decisions based on what they think will get the best ratings. I do think it's going to be a really close game, and I think they want to end the night on a banger. But it's just unfortunate to have the two San Diego games being tipped off way earlier than the two Tampa games, and Alabama being the last game of the night. But it's something we'll deal with, and it's a challenge we will embrace. Because, look, I remember Bubble Watch, and I remember Trevor Relaford getting fouled, but Alabama being eliminated. And I remember thinking about the round of 32 and getting to the Sweet 16 anytime and every year and wanting to be there. And so it is special for Alabama. Despite the late tip-off time, I will be extremely energized on Sunday night over their Benchmark International Arena. I'm taking Alabama to win. I think I'll take Alabama to win I know I said big earlier, but you kind of gave me some more information. I think I'm going to take Alabama at 8 points.
8 points.
Yeah, 8 points.
Texas Tech 89-84.
Oof, 89-84. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. I mean, they shot the lights out the other day. 11 of 20. Shoot, I know it's not as many as you're used to seeing Alabama making, but that percentage is incredible. Over 50% at any time is really, really good. So you're in for a really good basketball game on Sunday night. Before we get out of here, Theo, let me tell everybody about Purple Turtle Roofing, and you can tell us about Tyler Fay, because the show is brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacements, insurance claim support, and more. Check them out online at roofturtle.com, or you can call them for your free roof inspection at 877-787-6635 today. It is the spring storm season. You want to make sure you have the peace of mind that you deserve in your home. Call Purple Turtle Roofing or visit them online today at roofturtle.com.
Stay off the weed.
What Tyler Fay did on the mound for 3 hours last night was nothing short of special. It was an all-time moment in the history of the Alabama baseball program. It was the game of Fay's life. And it was maybe exactly what this team needed.
A big spark!
Turn around the season. I've watched baseball my whole life, as many of you have. I can count on one hand the amount of times that I've watched a no-hitter at any level, not counting I get the notification that a guy's a no-hitter through 8 innings, so I turn it on. The amount of times that you actually sit down and watch a baseball game could be high school baseball, college, pro, minor, whatever level. The amount of times you sit down and watch a baseball game and get to see a guy throw a no-hitter. So rare. And to get it for this program, for a guy in Fay with such a special story, that's what baseball is all about, man. And it is so special here in March Madness. We're looking at all the stories of these teams, right? And just what everything means. And here's Fay, who comes out and throws a no-hitter. The biggest story of the night right there happened at Sewell Thomas Stadium. Tyler Fay throws 132 pitches and completely blanks a Florida lineup this team was 19-3. They've got a very strong pitching, so it was still a top half bats in the SEC. Pro-level talent on this lineup, up and down. Nobody had an answer for Fay. Then you're watching this game, and I remember seeing second inning. Tyler Fay walks a batter to start it. He then has a guy ground into a fielder's choice. And then you have the guy on first, failed pickoff attempt, just an error. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Like, we're settling in for a normal baseball game. Nothing. They have no way of knowing, none of us do, that runner who stood on second base after Fay's error, that would be the last time Florida got into scoring position the rest of the day. Fay strikes out the side in the third and fourth, and he just keeps working and working and working. And all of a sudden, we're sitting here in the ninth, and Tyler Fay is sitting there on the verge of a gem and strikes out the first two batters. Florida was throwing pinch hitters out there trying to change around anything, and Alabama had the 6-0 lead. The game was over, but you see Brennan Lawson, one of the best hitters in baseball, walk up and with 2 strikes just bash one into the outfield. Just a line drive. My heart sank watching that ball leave Lawson's bat. And then Justin Osterhouse, and then it just pans to Justin Osterhouse, and he's there. And before you know it, that ball's in his glove. Words can't describe what it felt like watching that moment. Listening to Fay's post-game press conference and seeing how much it meant there, and seeing the entire team just mob him, swarm him. That's what baseball's all about, man. Look, Alabama's had its struggles. It's been an underwhelming season. We can talk about, the 4-game losing streak and the bullpen errors and why are these guys not able to feel the ball, and what's happening? Why are we straining so many runs on base? And those are all legitimate concerns that aren't going away. Concerns that may follow the team through the rest of the season. None of that mattered for 3 hours on Friday, as Tyler Fay did one of the most special things the sport of baseball can give you.
All right, one question. You said 132 or 136 pitches?
32, yeah.
All right. The only it was obviously from negative fans, from opposite fan bases. The only thing I saw was, you can't let a pitcher throw 132 pitches. Well, I'll just ask your take on this, because of where you are in the season and being a young. He's not an old arm, but he's not a young arm. He's a developing arm for the age range of a baseball player. Where do you stand on pitch count and protecting a pitcher and letting him go for a special moment like this?
Tyler Fay is a very nice guy. I guarantee you he would have wanted to strangle the entire staff if they even tried to take him out of that baseball game. I think these woke managers who are all like, oh, we've got to, it's more important to preserve a player. We don't care. Rich Hill got pulled from a game 7 innings into a perfect game one time. These managers, I get it. You want to play winning baseball. You want to preserve these guys. You care about the season. You do not touch a guy in that position, no matter what. When you have a no-hitter going, when you have a perfect game going, any version of that, they are staying in that game until they finish it. it's ridiculous to entertain it because like that's just all fans being salty. I mean, I saw some Texas fans. Auburn had a ridiculous walk-off last night. I don't know if you saw, to beat Texas, and Texas fans were just kind of crashing out online the whole night. And Tennessee fans and LSU fans are upset about how their season's gone. And Florida fans actually didn't care. They had an NCAA tournament game that tipped off right as Fay was completing.
Was that a
no-hitter.
game? Oh my gosh, that wasn't even what I would consider. They won by like 60,
yeah,
by like 70.
It was it felt like a women's basketball score. But no, you never touch a guy when you let him throw 190 pitches. That's what it takes.
Well, there we go. We'll pay attention to the next two Alabama baseball games against Florida. You didn't get swept. You avoided a sweep. You got your first
in the win column.
Exactly. Your first conference win of the season comes in historic fashion as Tyler Faith throws a no-hitter for the Crimson Tide at Sewell Thomas Stadium. They've got two more games against the Gators. We'll see if they can get one of them to win the series at home. It'll be a huge series win if they can get one more game of the weekend. But we're getting out of here for the day. We're going to head over to Benchmark International Arena to talk to the Texas Tech Red Raiders about Alabama, and then to talk to the Alabama Crimson Tide about Texas Tech. And so that's what's going to be coming up next on Bama Central's YouTube channel, on Bama Central's Facebook page, right there on Bama Central's homepage. You can find all the coverage of us at the NCAA tournament in Tampa, and you can keep up with baseball, softball. Got a big win last night as well on the road. Katie Wyndham had you covered right there. So big things, big weekend, and we're having a lot of fun here in Tampa. We'll continue to talk to you as the weekend goes along and get you into next week right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com.